The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X-Bacon Gaming.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Hold the line, gentlemen. We held strong for Starfield. Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Joining me, as always, is the, co-host and outpost noob, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
You know, in interviews, when they say things like, what is your biggest weakness? And people say things like, I work too hard and care too much. That has been my week, gentlemen. And I love my job. I'm not complaining about that. But the problem is I have played Starfield literally like 3 hours this week, which really hurts my heart.
Boo, Jose, can I get a boo from the, do you have the, I was saying booer?
I don't think I have the booers.
Oh, you need to add that stat.
I need to add that. But I'm happy to be here, man, and I'm also happy to report that like my days at work are slowing down to the point where I get to game tonight at least, and that's where my outpost building is coming in.
If I was you.
I cannot wait to hear your guys' impressions and to hear we had a lot of feedback from our last show. Thank you to everyone that wrote in.
Oh man, can't wait to dig into that, Jose. And joining us as always is the intern to the co-host, and he also said Starfield is game of the year. X-Bacon Gaming. How are you?
Well, I promised a gentleman I'd give him a shout out tonight. I went to help someone a couple blocks away, and he came out to the garage wearing an N7 t-shirt. Instantly, we're best friends. And I get into his car.
We just become best friends, Jose. Yep. You need to add that one too, Jose. Write these down.
I'm writing them down.
And I finally get his car started. I get inside and I'm flipping through the menus of his screen. And on the screen of his dash of his car, he has the N7 logo on his Honda.
This guy's a
Civic.
winner.
And I was like, bro, how many playthroughs are you? He said he was on his 16th playthrough of it in life. And of course, he's a Liara simp as well as I am. So
who is
wanted to give him a shout out. I said he'd be listening. I don't know if he's out there, but Sean, if you're out there, there's your shout out.
Shout out to Sean. And speaking of shout outs, Bacon, perfect segue. Let's jump into some huge nerd chat shout outs, Jose. Man, like Jose, actually, I don't know if he mentioned this. This might have been before, pre-show. Make sure to sub to us on Patreon for the pre-show news. Just kidding. We don't have a Patreon. We were just talking before the show. Jose had mentioned how we had over 600 views on our last video, just popping off with that controversial title. Starfield is not a 7 out of 10. We've got a couple of new subs, and I don't see them listed here, but shout out to our new subs on YouTube. But huge nerd chat shout out, boys. BigBox is back, and he wrote to us. I shouted you out. LOL. Look below. Daddy Diwali, can you see this? It's weird that my comments aren't showing up sometimes. I'll try posting another question on the latest show. BigBox, you're right. Your comments were kind of hidden. It's weird. I even looked like I had to select like newest first or something, and they were there. But anyway, BigBox wrote in, and he had this question for us. So we've got an official warm-up this week. Dear four horsemen of the apocalypse, +1 MT Kennedy 7. Well, unfortunately, Matt is not with us. He's too busy playing Starfield
and teaching
Baldur's Gate, and he just streamed Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I think he just beat one the other day. I derelicted my duties last week. I need that too, Jose. That's the other one out.
We had the whole list.
I was thinking about this as I read his comment earlier. Last week, due to a crazy schedule, my apologies. I'll make up for it with a simple, vaguely Starfield-themed question. A question that objectively only has one right answer. Star Trek or Star Wars? Hope the gang is enjoying the heck out of Starfield. Can't wait to hear your takes on such a momentous game. Let's go, Big Box. Thank you so much for writing in. Boys, who wants to take this one first? I've got a couple thoughts on this. So, Bacon, let's start with you. I think I already know your answer. Oh, Jose, you want to go? Go ahead.
No, Bacon, go. I'm good. Go, Bacon. You're good, man.
Oh, man, putting me on the spot.
There's one answer.
Going to be Star Wars, of
Correct.
course. But do we have to pick either of them? I mean, they're both.
I think I know where you're going, Bacon. Star Wars in general, much more entertaining, much more influential pop culture. Star Wars is the better medium. But when it comes to video games, I think I like the structure of the more Mass Effect and Starfield, which is, I would say, definitely more Star Trek-esque.
Yes.
So...
And then when you think about the properties that have spawned from the original Star Treks and New Generation and all, I mean, there's been a ton. I love them both, oddly enough, but you'll never. Yeah. It's always going to be Star Wars. Because it is what it is. But that is a fantastic question. So yeah, Star Wars 1, Star Trek 2. Captain Kirk was a little weird. A little boring.
I will
sometimes.
say Star Wars movies I feel like are superior in every way, but
the new
Star Trek movies, those were good. Those were dope. Really especially the first one. I saw that a rare occasion. My dad and parents usually don't like to go to movies. We saw it as a family, and they were kind of like Star Trek fans when I was a kid growing up. And I remember just looking over and I could just see the smile on their faces. And I was like, this is cool. Like they did such a great job. And I remember I even got a little teary eyed when Kirk's his dad dies, at the beginning. Spoilers. It's been out for like 10 years now, more than that. And I was like, man, this is good. So the Star Trek movies recently were pretty good, but Star Wars is still better. Let's just be real. Except for I don't know,
the pod racing episodes.
Except for Boba Fett. I don't know. Sometimes
what's his name? Jar Jar Binks.
Ooh, good point. Jose, I know the answer is Star Wars for you as well. Let's hear your thoughts.
It is, absolutely. What I was going to say, what's interesting about that, though, is like in my household, my dad was not into either. My mom was super into Star Trek. Like literally, we had this like autograph wall in our house, and it was by our pool table, and she had the autographs of like William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy on like a Kirk. Like it was like she was big into Star Trek.
Can you guys do this?
Growing up, oh yeah, of course, dude. Right. But as myself, of course, Star Wars. I everything about the properties, and I am not as critical of all the new movies as much as my co-hosts are. I've enjoyed all of them. They're also I like them because they're entertaining enough for my daughters to get into it. Because I tried showing them like the original movies, and they're just too young to really appreciate it. But they like the new stuff, so that's what I really have been enjoying about it.
So great warm-up question, Big Box. It is so good to have you back. Yeah, I would say we're all in agreement. Star Wars in general and as a universe, but for me, structure of games, I'm definitely more the Mass Effect, Starfield / Star Trek approach. So, but they're both fantastic. So thank you, Big Box, for writing in. Bacon, go ahead.
Real quick, that B's in the chat. We need to find out how he enjoyed that CU game. He was at it.
Ooh, Nebraska's game.
Oh yeah,
he said he ran into Prime's son when they all rushed the field. So
nice. Shout out to B. Go Buffs. Go see you. Guys, let's jump into Xbox news for the week, Jose.
News team, assemble!
Man, oh man. And in case you didn't hear or don't follow me on Twitter, coming in hot here with news story number 1. Caramba. Did we paid early access to Starfield? Did we get conned? And the reason we changed it, initially this title of our show tonight was going to be Starfield Impressions After 50 Hours. It keeps getting better and better. Spoiler alert, I'm actually at 72 hours and it's blowing my mind. I'm averaging 5 hours a day. But I had recently, I was scrolling the old X platform, and man, oh man, I came across a tweet, and he's still replying to me, guys.
Our buddy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't even know where to say. I tweeted at
You know what they do.
Dan
that
Stapleton.
was-
Okay, Shador, we
Sorry.
got it. Shout out to Shador Sanders, quarterback for CU Bus. Thanks for doing that right now when I was in the middle of my thought bacon. Anyway,
I
back
need you
to
to
the
gather
news story number one. Dan Stapleton, infamous for giving Starfield a 7 out of 10. I saw Ty Guy Travis retweet this tweet. Let's go over this. In general, we're going to talk about early access and Starfield impressions, so don't worry. And we're going to get to comments from our last video, everyone's thoughts on Starfield. But this is going to drive our conversation here. Dan quote tweeted or quote, what is it now? I can't even say tweeted, quote zeeted. Xbox had a post that said, "It's time to earn your flawless victory. Early access to Mortal Kombat 1 starts now." And then it sends a link to the Mortal Kombat Premium Edition, which is, who wants to guess the price of this bad boy?
99.
More.
120.
Oh,
110. So very pricey. I can,
that's a
again,
weird number.
a lot of money for a game that is technically out on either next Tuesday, I'm guessing is what they say. Somebody looked that up. It's early access quotes right now. And Dan said, "But remember, it's not out. You can buy and play it, but it hasn't been released. Our marketing guys said the release date is next Tuesday." Obviously with sarcasm there. And what does released even mean anyway? Just because literally anybody with money can play it doesn't mean anything. What are words? And one of the quotes I saw on this tweet was clearly an aggressive tweet, right? Mocking paying so much for early access, even though technically the game is out right now. You are paying to play.
September 19th is official release, by the way.
Okay, so that is next Tuesday, I'm guessing. One of the replies, the first reply I saw in there was like, "Maybe you need a Snickers bar, Dan," which I thought was funny.
Thanks, coming in hot.
And then he said to Justin, he said, "Maybe you need a dictionary, Justin." But anyway, I said, and I knew as soon as I wrote it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to come after me." I paid for early access to Starfield, and 72 hours of gameplay later, I can confidently say it was worth every penny. What's wrong with having the option to pay for early access? Hashtag CU and the Starfield. To which Ty Guy Travis said, "Honestly, my issue is just with the word early. It's not early. The game is out and you're simply buying it. Those who buy the normal version are getting late access. It's one of those marketing terms that twists the meaning in a scummy way. Players should reject it. It's BS." And then to which Dan responded, "If they were remotely honest, it would be called more expensive access." And I said, yes, that's fair. And I said, also a star with potentially good DLC sometimes, right? Like in which case we're hoping we're getting. Hi, Grayson. Love you. Have a good night. I'm reading something. See you later. And then Dan said, he responded to my tweet when I said I paid early access to Starfield. He said, "Early relative to what exactly?" To which I responded, "You're right. I'm just paying to feel like I'm playing early. But in Starfield's case, the early access felt justifiable because I have Game Pass and it comes with the first DLC. As long as the game is giving you something you value, I see no harm in having the option." And Dan said, "I'm sorry, but you got conned. You were sold a sense of superiority over people who don't have as much disposable income as you."
Wow.
And they did it by lying about when this game was available to purchase and by misleading Game Pass customers into thinking they'd get it day one. And I said, "I got conned? Superiority for disposable income? I paid $35, add $10 for Game Pass for 72 hours of enjoyment and the best game I've played this year. I will also get to play the DLC when that comes out, which you are dismissing. Sounds like a great deal to me." And I do want to say that has more likes than Dan's response. I just want to say he got ratio.
And we got canceled by Dan Stapleton.
Owen Lars responded, "What's up with people getting super pissy when you point out the thing that they're paying for extra scam? Why wouldn't they rather more people be aware so these practices stop being so effective?" It's 100% natural. People don't like getting scammed, said Dan Stapleton. And then I said, after that, he said, sorry, Ty Guy said that the issues is that players used to get all equal access to a game the day it came out. Now we've accepted a caste system where we're charged more to play games at launch or have to wait. How long before a developer decides early access is the first month, first year? No matter how you look at it, it's a huge step in the wrong direction for consumers, and we shouldn't support it. And I said, I think you're mostly right, but what about the case of Xbox first party? And I'm specifically saying first party for their games being available day one in Game Pass. Is there value in players paying for access if it's going directly to the studio? Would we rather games all just go up to $100? I'm genuinely curious. And then Dan said, if it's actually the first day, great, go for it. If it's a lie, I'm against it. And I said, great points to bring up to developers here, gentlemen. Thanks for the discussion. Trying to end it in a good way.
I'm proud of you, Dan. Like, honestly, I think you're holding back. I'm proud of you.
And Dan said, this has virtually nothing to do with developers. Developers make games. Marketers sell them. This is all about deceptive marketing. And then I said, okay, publishers and marketers. Interesting to dig into is all I'm saying. Again, I've only done this for Starfield and Forza Horizon 5, which I feel is worth the value for the DLCs I've gotten in Forza Horizon. By the way, I paid that $50. I got 3 DLCs, and they have all been fantastic, Bacon.
Hot Wheels alone was worth it.
Exactly. That one alone has been worth it. Fantastic. To me, worth the early access, worth it for the DLCs. And then Dan said, well, you haven't gotten the DLC yet. I hope it's good too. Don't know if it's worth paying up front because the record has its ups and downs. They tend to start strong though. And that's true. And so thank God, it seems like he somewhat agrees with me, and he's
we're friends now.
I wouldn't say that. He's taking DLC into account for paying for early access. And I even said that to somebody else's response. I said, yes, if you're just paying to play the game early, yeah, that sucks. But if I'm getting DLC, I see the value in it. And not only that, Jose, like you mentioned, tell the audience about what you pay early for. If it's valuable to me and I get a sense of happiness playing the game early and being a part of the discussion early and 72 hours in the game, I'm sorry, I feel like that $35 was totally worth it for more expensive early access. So Jose, give me your thoughts. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to make sure I gave full context for the whole discussion. I believe that is it. So Jose, take me away with your thoughts, please.
What I was talking about when we were getting ready with this was like, so it's not a shock that I'm a big Apple guy and we have like Apple TV, and I buy a lot of movies on Apple TV because then I just have them for perpetuity. But on a lot of movies that come out on Apple TV early, you can have them like way before they're on streaming services or even on DVD, but they're expensive, like relatively. They're $20.
Yeah, it's like $30, $40.
No, it's like 20. Like, so like Ninja Turtles right now is on Apple TV. I can buy it right now. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, $20 right now on Apple. And I haven't bought either of those yet, but I have bought movies like that before because to me, that's a cool value for me and my family. Like, it's way cheaper than going to the movies.
And going to the movie.
Going out. And I have no problem with that kind of money. Now, to be fair, and it was interesting that he took this route. Like, I just didn't even consider that Dan went into the route of the like disposable income and people that have money issues. And I think that's a fair thing to bring up. And I see where Travis is going about this, but I'm on your side ultimately of like, you don't have to buy it, man. Like that's where I'm just at is like, if I was a high school student still, right, and I didn't have a lot of disposable income, like, would it be a bummer that I didn't get Starfield 5 days early? Yeah, it would. Like, I would be sad, but I'd also be getting it in 5 days, and I probably wouldn't care that much. And
I paid for the DLC too, though. Well, and that's what we're forgetting. Like, I'm not just paying for early access. That's a part of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that element too.
And it's on Game Pass, so it's like money and value and how much we should pay for a game. That's all subjective, but keep going.
Well, and I also just think of it in terms of like, for example, I'm not going to pay for early access for like Forza, and I didn't play for Forza Horizon 5.
I'm not going to pay.
I love the game,
Motorsport.
Amazing game. I paid for the DLCs, but I wasn't a big deal because I just didn't pay for it. It's not what I wanted. So I appreciate the discourse, man. I know it's not. I know we're not best friends, but I agree. It's fine.
Like, but was it a little aggressive? Like, I wasn't like you said, Jose. Did I say anything crazy there? I felt like it was.
I mean, compared to things you've said otherwise, I felt like that was very tame. But hey, man, the other part that and this is an all respect thing to Dan and to Travis. I respect a lot of what Travis says on like Bitcast and stuff, is that when you're in this industry and these kind of hot button games come out, I'm sure that like for us, it's like one night a week when we're on our podcast and a little bit in our friend chat, we're talking about this. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect us. But when you're in that role, I'm sure that this is all Dan has heard, like Dan Stapleton, I mean, for the last 2 weeks. And a lot of it has been very negative.
And I didn't say that, guys. I could have been like, dude, I paid for early access to your 7 out of 10 game, and but I didn't say that. So I was trying to be respectful, but also show another side of this. So Bacon, before you speak, let's keep keep you in check here. All right, so go ahead, Jose.
No, that's it. I thanks for the discourse, man. We respect everything you do, Dan and Travis. Thank you for that. And Bacon, I'd love to hear what you think too, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad it ended well. Like I said, the last thing he's like, okay, yeah, the DLC, I can potentially see that if it's good.
I'm sure his weird turn on that is because he has been getting attacked for his.
And I wasn't attacking him.
I know. If I would have gotten in that chat, I probably would have mentioned his 7 out of 10 for that, but his 80 scored Duke Nukem Forever makes a ton of sense. Hey, I'm not. But he also fails to see that we got the art book.
Oh,
we
you're
also
right.
got the
audio soundtrack. That's right. I completely forgot about that. I didn't even bring those up.
Only thing that upsets me about that is we didn't get the Imagine Dragons song in the soundtrack, because I really want that there. I find myself listening to that.
That's a great point. I didn't mention that, Bacon. That's a great point. We did get. I forgot about those.
The reason why
he's getting back on his tweet right now.
I'm getting right now. I'm tweeting it.
Edit. So the
I
whole
don't
thing
pay for
is
Blue.
The publishers are getting an opportunity to pre-sell their DLC that you can't refund it. Once we've played it for a certain number of hours, they've pre-sold at least 1 million DLCs, and they don't have to worry about selling that down the road. Game Pass needs to be profitable, and this is a way for them to be profitable.
And I'm glad you bring that up as part of the profit, because I wanted you to listen. You should listen to Sacred Symbols last week, because Colin talks about Starfield, and he's actually very positive on it, Bacon. You should listen to it. It was a really good conversation. And he was like, I would definitely circle this. And he was talking about the 250,000 people who paid for early access. Like, think about how much money and how smart that was for them to do that. And again, like Jose and I have said, it's an option. You don't have to do it. And yes, is it a little scummy? Yes. But is it deceptive, Bacon? I don't think so. It clearly says you are paying for early access. Like, I know what I'm paying for, but the DLC, again, I paid for the first thing that came into my mind is, yes, I do want to play this early, but am I going to pay it? No. But then the DLC, the soundtrack, the art, like those are added things. So I'm like, yeah, that provides value to me. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And so when I looked at it for going early access, one, I'm not going to be left out of the conversation. So two,
which can be scummy.
I know Forza is right behind this game. And I am, 52 hours into this game, and I only have 400 achievement points. I have got a lot of work to do before Forza comes out. I got to start Gotham Knights. I got to start Hogwarts. I have a lot. So the 5-day early access for me was well worth it to get at least, I think I had 24 hours in before it was in its full release. And then I would just be 24 hours further behind. I do not regret that purchase in the slightest. I think early access was awesome, and I think it's a fantastic way for Microsoft to keep our costs of Game Pass low and to still show investors, hey, if we put out a good product, people are going to pay for it early. They're going to prepay for their DLCs and any other add-ons we can give. So I don't see the point in it. And it's not a status thing. If you don't believe in prepaying for a game, then don't do that. Wait for the reviews to come out and then make your buying decisions. We didn't have to make that decision because we are Game Pass subscribers, and we all knew we played this game.
To be fair, the reviews are already out for this game the embargo was right before the early access went up. So it's not like
12 hours early, right? So
and I just want to say, Bacon, you're kind of saying what I was trying to say too, is like, as another way to keep Game Pass savings to us, specifically Xbox first party games, like I don't see it. I think it's different. And that's what I was trying to say to Dan and Travis is like, is it different because Xbox releases their games day and date quotes on Game Pass? Is it fair for them to maybe say, hey, if you pay a little bit more, you're going to help the developers, and that's going to save you money. We're also going to make money to keep Game Pass, relatively affordable. So I feel like that's different than Mortal Kombat charging $110 for what do we like that. That's a little bit different than me paying $35 for DLC and early access.
For a game we've seen, 11 times now, or is this the 12th installment of Mortal Kombat? And this is
it could be any game.
And this is a new IP that we're going to get thousands of hours of enjoyment out of with this DLC and everything we do for it. So I think he's a little off base, but me and Dan don't get along.
It's a game by game basis. Jose, closing thoughts on, do you feel like we are getting conned, or is this just, business? You're muted.
Mute.
Thank you. I don't feel like we're getting conned. I do think it is fair for Dan to say that, like, we can have this opinion a little bit differently because we do have a different lifestyle. I think that is a fair thing to say. I don't think that makes us that we're duped into it. I don't think that means I got something quickly pulled over a wool pulled over my eyes or anything. I was very well aware of what I was spending the money on. It just was worth it to me for that time.
Exactly.
I do think it is an interesting point that Travis brought up about, like, what happens if they decide to be a month or a year. I think that's getting a little excessive. I mean, I could be wrong, certainly. But it's an interesting point. I mean, it's kind of what happened with Final Fantasy VII, right? Like, to agree, like, we're like, it's a 1 year. We're gonna get 1 year. I know it's not the same because it wasn't like they paid for it and stuff, but it just
I don't think they ever said if it was going to be that. We never saw the terms on the exclusivity for.
I guess what I'm just getting at is, like, it does feel crappy to be withheld from a game. I certainly don't want that to become a norm.
Yes.
I do personally think it's fine to have early access when it's like a couple of days or a week, because the other part of this is, like, and maybe this is just my life, I don't have time to play games every day. I wish I did. I cannot wait to retire in 13 years, who's counting, so that I can literally play video games all day. But until then, like, I have to choose my time. And so even if I had paid for this access and only been able to play like an hour or two before the full release came out, I still wouldn't have felt upset, because to me, this is no different than, like, getting a game on Game Pass and then still going and buying it somewhere else because I want to support the developer. Now, granted, again, I heard what Dan said, that this is really the marketing and publishing team. Like, I understand all of that. I just ended up being okay with it in the end. So cool thing. I think we should move on because we're already almost half an hour in, but very interesting developments, man. Dan is becoming real popular out there. I mean, our Dan, Steve Wally.
I'm kidding. Probably already blogged by Dan Stapleton. Anyway, guys, let's move on. I don't believe we got conned. I knew what I was paying for, and I've had a blast in Starfield. But you're right, maybe the next one I pay early for, it might bite me in the actually, I can give you one. There was one other I forgot. Nope. Diablo 4.
Oh, I knew about Diablo. I thought about that too.
I
don't think I got conned for that one, but I didn't play it after I played through.
Bobby Kotick got me on that one because that wasn't worth it. It was just the season pass. I mean, I think that cost would have been the cost for if I would have paid for it, right? But
just for
I personally have not put in the time to Diablo 4. So that was a miss. But Forza Horizon and Starfield, banger slangers, if you ask me. Guys, let's move in. We're going to continue more Starfield impressions, and we're going to go over the comments from our last video. We are so happy. Comments were popping off a lot of different opinions, and then this will guide our discussion as well with what we're thinking of the game so far. Again, I am 72 hours in. I have completed the main quest. Spoiler alert. No, I'm not going to spoil anything. The best Bethesda campaign I have ever played. Not even close. Also, I am in the UC. What's the Vanguards? I won't spoil anything. Also amazing. I'm about to finish that. I'm on the last mission, I believe. Bacon. Bacon. Why don't we talk? How many hours? Quick thoughts before we jump into these comments.
I'm 54 in. I'm in New Game Plus. The decision I made at the end of the game, not going to spoil anything, kind of reset everything. And now I'm going through the UC quest line again, but I need all the XP to get to my 100 to get that last achievement.
You could also just have loaded before you don't have like many save, like you don't have like a save every hour. Yeah, I would just go back. I mean, honestly, that would
probably every hour. Jeez, but
you need to have these saves, you guys.
You do.
And then I changed it to every 2. Once I get like right now, I've gone back to do every 2 hours. I go back and delete them, and it's important because Johnny had progress lost because he encountered another bug. I don't know what's happening with Struggle Plus over there, but he had in the mission, what's it called? Where, oh gosh, one where you have to make a decision and you have to go to either one base or another. I'll just say it like that. Jose, have you gotten there?
No, I don't think so.
You would know what we're talking about. We can't spoil it. You have to. One of the NPCs that he's supposed to check on isn't there, Bacon. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So, and apparently it's happened to someone else. So, guys, this is a Bethesda game. Make your saves. Sorry, go ahead, Bacon.
And the end of this campaign, the last few missions are so good. It is
so good.
Absurd how good they are. I cannot believe.
Yeah.
And all this talk about having SSDs that can do this, and it's only available because of the speed of this SSD. They're doing almost the exact same thing in the Starfield mission. It is so damn good. The ending, I agonized over my decision. I think twice I sat there just weighing the pros and cons
went for
of
a
these
walk.
decisions. Right. And I'm just like, what do I choose here? Because this can, I still haven't gotten a relationship yet. I'm going with Sarah on this one because
you're gonna have to do it from the beginning. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
What's her name?
Just make sure you got to
make sure it's on Twitch, huh?
You have to.
She just kept declining me. It's because I'm a lady. I don't know, but
you got to make right decisions, and you got to have her always around, and always make sure she liked that. If you get a dislike, reload the checkpoint.
If you put a score on this game without completing this campaign, I'm not even saying any of the side content. And there is so much content in this game. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you score this game without playing this game, you're doing it wrong. Like you said, this is the best campaign and maybe one of the most memorable missions I have ever, except for maybe the final mission in Mass Effect 2 when all my people got slaughtered. I mean, it is up there with how good that mission is. It is so freaking
I think they're good
and I can't.
For different reasons, Bacon. But
they
I
are
will
good
say,
for different reasons. Yes.
I forgot what I was going to say. All right, sorry, Jose. What about you? How many? You haven't played much. You haven't played much at all.
I just checked 26 and a half hours at this point, and I am, without spoiling, I am. I get to start making some big choices about some of the special content that is coming out, but I have time to go back and do kind of some other stuff, and so. I'm actually taking a pause from the main mission. I was kind of beelining it because I wanted to do that and then just go right into New Game Plus, and I haven't had a lot of time. But I wanna do some stuff with like shipbuilding and skills, and I want to fill out my character a little bit more. Like I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. That I was going to get behind, and you guys were going to finish, and a lot of the like our nerd chat was going to finish, and it was going to like make me have that FOMO. But I'm trying to be controlled and tell myself like, look, man. Okay. What is the rush? The only other game that I'm really hyped for is Alan Wake. I still have time.
We still have plenty. Well,
I know it's coming. I know, but I'm just saying like I don't need to rush is what I agree. Saying. And so like the great news this weekend, I don't have any plans. Like we don't have any even family plans. So I was like, great, I'm gonna get into Starfield time. So I'm really excited to do that. The only one tiny bummer, and if you have a tip out there and you put it tell me in the comments or DM me. I keep having the same issue Chance does with my ally. It works beautifully on the ally. Like I cannot tell you, I really thought that like it was not going to work at all. But I play on Xbox, I save my stuff, I get on my ally and I play for a couple hours and it's great. And I like literally leave it on. I don't just turn it off. I don't run down the battery to 0. I make sure everything's like synced and I shut down correctly. And then literally I go to my Xbox like a day later and it's like, hey, we didn't get those load files and we're going to have to restart to your most recent one, which is just where I left off with my Xbox. And it's
the same thing on my PC.
I think you got to have your PC on and then try to get it on your Xbox. Because I don't think the same thing happened to me, but it was saying, hey, we're having trouble syncing. Have your PC on while you're on and running,
like literally running while I'm there.
Exactly, while you're turning on your Xbox.
But
when I got that error, Jose, I was like, I'm not risking this anymore. I've been strictly staying on Xbox. I will go to PC when this run is over.
And so I've only happened to me twice, and both of the times I did a very short mission, and one of them I didn't even like the outcome, so I was like, I can actually redo it. That's actually not a big deal. The second one was a little more annoying, but I do feel bad for people that have lost a lot of progress because I know that is a bug that some people have. Haynes was talking about on Bigcast that it happened to him. So
I just cancel out that menu on PC and it still loads the proper save. So I haven't loaded it since I haven't loaded on the Ally since that first.
I wouldn't do it. Here's what I want to say though, as far as Jose, take your time, but I think it's worth it
to get it done.
to get through the main campaign, because I don't want it to be spoiled for you. It's that good, and you can always the last mission is called One Giant Leap. Just keep a save right there, and then that's what I'm doing. I beat it. Now I'm going back to do all that other stuff I want to do, and I think Bacon should have done the same, but he's already continued.
That's a good strategy. I like that.
But here's the thing, and there's another part to that, Andres. I like that. Thank you. Here's the thing, Jose, and it also, I don't want to spoil it, but like it also ties into the New Game Plus. So I think it is, you'll see once you complete the game why it's important.
But is it better? I've heard it's better on New Game Plus to literally start over again.
Just hear me out. Just have your save, have a few saves before you beat the game. And then you can make the decision, do I want to go on or do I want to go back? Okay. Because I can tell you this is not a spoiler. You will literally have your perks and that's it. That's all you carry. You don't have your money. You don't have your ships. You don't have your relationships. Everything, it's gone. So that's why I'm like, I need that money to maybe go build an outpost or to get certain resources or to buy a ship or to do stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to say. So have that save file. One Giant Leap is the last mission.
That's fair.
But Jose, I think it's absolutely worth it for you to mainline it.
And both of you finished in around 30, right? Is what you were at? You were at 30 about when you beat it?
I was 37.
Yeah, 30.
But I've done some few miscellaneous stuff. But all I did was like random miscellaneous missions or activities. I didn't do any of the side factions. This is the first side faction that I've done with the Vanguards, which is
so. Did you?
Can I ask,
did you start New Game Plus as a 37 or as a 1 again? I'm just
as a 37.
Yeah, no,
your
level and perks transfer over. That's it, though.
Gotcha. Okay, I got you.
You'll understand more once you get there. But I will say, Jose, just for spoiler reasons.
Yeah, that's all. I'm worried about that too. So maybe that's a good idea.
It plays. New Game Plus plays so good.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
wish I would have just mainlined the story and then did the faction stuff.
Exactly.
Because it's hard.
Yes.
Don't
say anything else.
The bad guys are harder, and I've bumped my difficulty up to hard, and it's in New Game Plus, and it's awesome.
It's really cool, Jose. And I don't want to say
now that I have to replay all the Vanguard missions and the Freestar Collective missions, and just to get to the Crimson Fleet ones, which are the ones I really want to play. But I do need the XP, and there are other choices. I am finding other missions and side quests I hadn't done on my first playthrough. So I don't regret any of it. I kind of wish I would just beeline the main story to then get to New Game Plus. So I see why people are saying that, and I tend to agree that doing it all in New Game Plus would have been the best.
That's a copy.
I disagree. I've gone back, or you can just save everything and then just go back and do that file and then just do it then. That's what I'm doing because I want my money in the ship. So anyway, moving on, let's go to the comments from last week's videos. A huge discussion on Starfield. Scott Rogers 1493 wrote in, gents, I can't spoil any side storyline for you, but you get Amelia Earhart as a companion. Yes, you read that right. This is the most humorous game by Bethesda yet, and that quest is only one of the few others that had me completely rolling so far. Have you guys ran into her?
Bacon did, right? I didn't.
I did. It's incredible. It's one of the side missions. It's I was going to tweet it. I'll tweet out about it later. Keep an eye out. It's in a very far to the right on the galaxy map, and you'll know. And it's incredible.
Sure, I will. Amelia Earhart.
it's hilarious. I don't want to spoil anything else. Surgical Glitch wrote, Surgical Glitch 3265. I feel like No Man's Sky and Star Citizen have so much over Starfield. I mean, I know they have had years and years of development put into them, but they're on the way to being so much more now. Starfield needs so much more work to get even closer. And you can defend Starfield all you want by saying it's a different sort of space game. But the fact is, Star Citizen and No Man's Sky feel seamless. When I jump into them, I feel like I'm in the universe. In Starfield, I feel like every time I jump, I'm bombarded with loading screens, stupid menus, bizarre game fast travel, and half-assed concepts that sound good on paper, but design-wise are poorly executed. I hope Bethesda sticks it out like No Man's Sky did and develops something amazing. I really do. There is so much more to this universe. And I responded, but what if I and other players don't want to spend endless time flying around to and from planets and prefer the more Outer Worlds, Mass Effect hub worlds instead. I would also argue that Starfield was never advertised as No Man's Sky or Star Citizen. If I want to do the things you're describing, I could just play those games. I think it comes down to a person's expectations of Starfield, and I would say that Bethesda clearly showed us the game we got, an immersive Bethesda RPG in space with an engaging story, fun space combat, open exploration at big but also limited scale, and endless ways to play the game. All these games can exist separately in their own ways, and it's great to have those options. I hope you find different things like you like in Starfield to keep playing. Thanks for your comment, and see you online. Bacon, do you want to read his response, or Jose?
I don't have
I
enough
don't
bacon.
have
You
it
can.
pulled up. Yeah, I don't have it pulled up
Okay.
here.
And then he said, there are ways to make the game still immersive while at the same time having no downtime. As I said, one of the problems is fast travel and the fact that you have to transport missions. Like take 3 miners from X to X. Fast travel literally defeats the purpose of that mission altogether. To be honest, man, I said nothing about these games not existing or that they need to be the same. Again, people don't have to defend this game, and it's okay to critique these things while still liking the title, man. But some of the mechanics in Starfield are half-assed and not planned out at all, like travel system and maps. And the fact that it almost defeats purpose of Contraband because their interactions with the ship in space are so limited, it feels like a tacked-on random system with little to no control over the outcome. You don't need to defend Starfield to me because I do like the game, but it's also a game with dead-end systems, and they have a long way to go, and I hope they fix these problems. And I said I appreciate the feedback, and I hope they do more with the expansion. And I said, like Jose said, this is their first attempt, and I think they do so much well here. I love Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallouts, but I feel like they're doing so much more in Starfield. And Jose and Bacon, speaking of all those things he had a problem with, news story number 3, Starfield updates are coming, and this is coming from Bethesda's official Game Studios post on X. First, an enormous thank you to all of you playing Starfield and your support. We are absolutely blown away by the responses and all that you love about the game. We're also reading all of your great feedback on what you'd like to see improved or added to the game. This is a game we will be supporting for years and years to come, which is good. So please keep all the feedback coming. Even if we don't get to your request immediately, we'd love to do it in the future, like city maps, which that last commenter just wrote about. I don't have such a big problem. Learn the cities. Our priority initially is making sure any top blocker bugs or stability issues are addressed, then adding quality of life features that many are asking for. The first update is a small hotfix targeted at the few top issues we are seeing. After that, expect regular interval updates that have top community requested features, including brightness and contrast controls, HDR calibration. Thank you. It's not working on my PC. FOV slider, also a huge plus. NVIDIA DLSS support on PC for Bacon and me. 32:9 ultra wide monitor support for Bacon, and a eat button for food. Everyone's making a big deal about that. You get like 5 points of food. I don't even deal with food anymore, guys. Just grab the med kits and go buy them at the stores. Come on now and raise your perks. So I feel like that one. I
feel seen with this, man. I literally said this.
I did at first, but then once you play, like you're like, this food doesn't give you anything. But sorry.
But when you are out of med kits and you have to rely on your food, it is nice to have 75 chunks of cheeseburger in your inventory.
Counterpoint, invest in that perk at the bottom of the health tab that automatically reheals your health. That's what I'm doing. Go for that one right away. It's awesome when your health just refills when you're out of battle, and when you max it out, it responds in battle and goes super fast. So there you go. Another way to combat that. We're also working closely with NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel on driver support. And each update will include new stability and performance improvements. Additionally, we are working on our built-in mod support creations that will work across all platforms, similar to what we've done with Skyrim and Fallout 4. This full support is planned to launch early next year. Until then, we know our PC community is already very active in the modding space. And if you have any feedback on how we can make this better, please let us know. Modding and creating in our games will always be a vital and important part of who we are. And we love seeing the community get off to such a strong start. Keep the feedback coming. We really do read it all. And thank you again for taking this journey with us. Bethesda Game Studios. Okay, so I know that was a lot, and that I wanted to bring that in right there because Surgical talked about some of the problems with the game, and it sounds like they're taking a lot of the feedback. They are even addressing the maps, the food, like we had mentioned. Bacon, tell me how excited you are with this update. Did you notice it right away? I noticed it when I loaded up. I'm like, oh man, 2.5 gig update. It's already live.
Yeah,
So
I noticed the game optimized drivers for NVIDIA right away. I think I gained like 20 frames, but it seems a much more stable frame rate. But everything in here, HDR, I don't personally see the need for the FOV slider because it's not like I'm getting bum rush from the sides. I need to see.
I could see it.
I need
But hold
to
on,
see
Bacon. I
so
got to
far
interrupt.
out.
We got to give a huge nerd chat shout out to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation show. I am lurking as I set up my Xbox. I mean, my Starfield box. Shout out to Joseph and Kyle over at PS Trophy Room, our friends, our PS fanboys for life. We love them so much. Sorry to interrupt you, Bacon. Also, shout out to Ashes. He is back, and he says he cannot put the game down. It's a problem. I saw Ashes. Do you have more than 72 hours? Because I've got 72 hours. Did you marry Andreja? Because I married Andreja, and I know Joe didn't get to her. I've got her. She's all mine, boys. The first to marry Andreja in the world, right here. This guy, right here. So sorry, Bacon. DLSS updates, PC Master Race stuff.
Yes, DLS is. I've thought about putting the mod on this entire time, but I would probably lose achievements. So I wanted to get the achievos, but now it's coming. 32:9, which is that big 57-inch.
Well, now you have to get it.
200.
So wait, right. Bacon, I got to interrupt right there. What about that one? I saw Gary Whitta with the huge screen. That wasn't 32:9. Was that the super monitor?
That is, but that's a different one.
Yes, it's 32:9, but it's a lot. Not all games support 32:9. There's 21:9 is standard ultra wide. 21:9s are supported by pretty much every game.
It's a blessing.
And the bigger 49-inch curved ultra wides are 32:9 aspect ratio, and then now the 57 is just a bigger 32:9.
Good gosh.
Eat buttons are going to be sweet. So there's nothing in here I see that's a problem. So let's get these updates coming fast and furious here.
Dude, Ashes says 130 hours.
Dude, Ashes, I wish. Gosh, I wish. I'm so jealous of you right now, Jose. Do you want me to keep reading some more comments, or do you have anything on the update?
I'm just happy about the food. Again, Dan, I agree with you. I know it's not enough to give me like
it's really not. The food just was annoying. Here's the other thing, guys. Another pro strat. Stop looting in general. All you people complaining about encumbrance, just complete missions and only loot the gold, the ore boxes that you see, or the weapons cases. That's it. Don't loot anything else. Maybe keep an eye out for the occasional magazine, because you're going to get money from completing missions than the time you spend looting.
I'm not worried about
and
that.
You'll just pick up ammo from dead guys and the occasional like rare gun. Stop wasting your time. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I found a weapon mod on a guy the other day, last night actually.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
No,
that might be an extended magazine mod.
That might be a plus thing, because I have not seen a single.
I haven't done a single weapon mod yet, and I just found.
Oh,
I got to get to a bench.
Oh, I've got weapon mods before already. Like, and I'm only at 26 hours because I actually loot things. That's what happens. No, you can keep reading comments, man. I'm good.
Okay, let's go on. I'm going to say Big Box. Big Box. He also had another one here. I'm going to have to give a big old heart to that one. Let's go to Evanescence 9357. Definitely way too slow of a start. But at 24 hours, I'm really starting to enjoy it. But it's a terrible way to get the casual players. And I completely agree. I said that. And Bacon said, I agree. Not being a big Bethesda guy myself, it did take me a few hours. Definitely not 24. It does pay off. Thanks for watching and writing in. I can see that. But 24 hours, you can be finished with the main quest. But it's true. In this, it does take a lot. But this goes back to Big Box's comments about like value, time, and all that. And I just want to say this, Bacon, you mentioned earlier that some people reviewed it without finishing the main quest. I think that's insane. I think you have to finish the main quest at least in this game. But I also would argue that you should also have had to finish the side factions as well. Otherwise, you're not seeing the game. And I heard even Gene Park was saying that with the Dukes. I finally listened to that bit. Well, they're not reviews, their discussion about it when it launched, because I skipped it because I didn't want anything spoiled. And even Gene was like, I didn't even do any of the side faction stuff. I just did the main story and other stuff. He didn't even know what a Terramorph was. And Maddie didn't know what it was either at that point. So it's like, man, the time to get into a play, like how much is there a rule? Like when we're reviewing games,
I think they would have needed to send those codes out a month early for people to have it.
That's
There's
true
just
because
too
I mean I've
much
been
in
playing
this
for
time
2
issue,
weeks,
Yeah.
Right? There's too much here.
but yeah. But is that their job to get to that, or is it your job to just take the time to actually play the game and do a fair job reviewing it? Like I know they all want to be a part of that zeitgeist getting their review out, but if you haven't taken the proper time to review this game, that's not fair to Bethesda. Like I have a feeling some people who rated this probably didn't do any of the side stuff, and that might have changed their reviews. But is it fair because it takes 70 hours to get to that point? I don't know. Bacon, go ahead.
I saw a guy with 170,000 subscribers complaining that you don't have space powers in this game, and we all know that's not true.
Yeah,
his big complaint was not having space powers like he does in Mass Effect.
Spoiler warning: we don't want to say.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You definitely have
5-6 hours in.
By the way,
have your first.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize the slow motion one. I didn't start using that until the very end. I completely was using. I was using the grab. I used that first one you got. That's the one I used at the beginning for the longest time. Or I was using that one where you can see marked enemies. I don't know if you guys have that one.
Okay, you're getting it. Hey, you're getting it. The spoiler.
All right. Sorry, I'll try. Sorry. But no, there's. Okay, all right. So back to the comments. Fast travel, talk words, fast travel, shoot at stuff, fast travel, gather resources to upgrade stuff, rinse and repeat equals fun, ? Said Ripflex2167. And I said, you're literally describing every RPG or any game ever created. Have you actually played the game? Because that has not been my experience at all. Thanks for watching and commenting. And Bacon said, thanks. Sounds like the greatest game of all time, Mass Effect. Starfield really is. It really is great, but if you don't like RPGs, it might not be for you. Thanks for watching, guys. That comment right there, that really kind of made me a little upset. Like, isn't that what you do in every game? Like, I'm very confused.
You don't let it get you.
I know.
A linear game with button prompts and cutscenes and QTEs. It's
which sounds terrible to me. A Sony first party game, walking simulator. That sounds unappealing. It's all one cut. I don't care. I'd rather have a loading screen than that God of War loading screen when you're traveling to another place. That was the worst. Walking in that freaking circle and hearing stupid Mimir talk oh my gosh, that was terrible. Anyway,
what you talking about, brother?
And I like Mimir too, but my gosh, that was the worst fast travel, worst maps ever. But anyway, continuing on. You got Gemini Yuki said, you guys look like you only play with Game Pass. What kind of game of year list was that? Yikes. To which I responded, you look like you're missing out on some banger slinger games that we've played on Game Pass. # see you online.
We devolved into a middle school lunchroom.
But Bacon also said Jedi Survivor on Game Pass, Diablo, Hogwarts, and I said Last of Us in mine. And Bacon's right. We listed many games that were not on Game Pass, and I also listed. I said Hi-Fi Rush on Game Pass, RE4 remake, nope, not on Game Pass. Paid 100% for that. Star Wars paid full price for that, not on Game Pass. Diablo 4, not on Game Pass. I paid 100.
Oh, hey, froze.
And then I also added, I play everything and have a PS1, various PlayStation games, a Switch, Metroid Dread, Skyward Sword, and Mass Effect in my background. Check my trophies on PSN profiles and my achievements. I've got the receipts. So shout out to that comment. Let's end the comments with this final one from BigBox. And BigBox, I almost missed it, brother, but I see you here. Nerd Chat. I think I'm seeing something that's not a common talking point. There seems to be two types of Starfield reviews. The I love Bethesda RPGs and Starfield is the best, so 10 out of 10 reviews. Then there are the I'm not into Bethesda RPGs, and these three things really bother me about Starfield, so 7 out of 10 reviews. I think you're right, BigBox. Is it just me, or has the taste of influencing review scores phenomenon really grown over the last 25 years? I don't remember magazines like EGM and GamePro suffering from this effect nearly as much. 1, is this a growing phenomenon among critics? 2, if so, is this a problem? 3, if it is a problem, what's the fix? Keep up the good work, gentlemen. Shout out to BigBox. Jose, do you want to tackle these questions? Because I feel like there is something going on with the 7 out of 10s and getting the influence and this phenomenon among critics. I would agree, Big Box. I agree with your assessment.
I would make this real short because I know this has been the rhetoric all week, and really since this came out, even Baldur's Gate, since that came out, Baldur's Gate 3.
Before you say that, Jose, can we agree that Starfield has been getting some insane critique out of nowhere? It feels like
Absolutely.
Completely unwarranted too. A 7 out of 10 for the amount of work that Bethesda put into this game. Ridiculous, Big Box. Sorry, Jose, go ahead.
So here's what I'd say. The reason this didn't happen back in the day with like GamePro and EGM and stuff was like that is we didn't have the social media. That's really, I think, what has changed all this, right? The social media element of game reviews and even us, right? Like we're nobody. Not, I don't mean that in a negative way, but like Dan and I,
we're somebody that ashes, am I right?
Like we're just friends who like talk about games. Like we are not influencers, right? But we understand that like as our community grows, and we very much appreciate and love our community, that things that we say can change things in a very small way, right? But when you take that on a mega scale, especially with people that have done this a very long time, who have a lot of influence, like that, you can see where this like kind of devolves in the wrong directions. The other way that I would think about this, and this is actually a shout out to Travis, Ty Guy Travis on Bitcast. I was listening to that while I was at lunch duty this week, and he brought up an excellent point. He said the way you have to really think about reviews, and I think this is true, it's not about the numbers and specific places. Like I'm even talking about Dan Stapleton. It's really more about, you need to find a couple reviewers that you really trust and that you're in line with, and just listen and trust them. Like I as much as I think it's great that everybody wants to give a number, and I think there are even some places that try to not give a number, but there's like a whole issue with like SEO and trying to get found on the internet and stuff. What it comes down to is you got to find people that you trust, right? Like I tend to trust a couple of people, and they're the ones that I listen to reviews for. I don't listen to all the other ones. And so I see where people get this whole rhetoric of like, you gave it a 4, you gave it a 6. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I understand it, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it, right? At the end of the day, I listened to the people that I trusted, and they gave it a great score, and I also gave a great score, right? And so finding that alignment with people that you trust, I think, is an important element. And I liken a lot to the console war stuff, right? Like I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more console war stuff between Baldur's Gate and Starfield, and maybe that's because Baldur's Gate's coming to Xbox soon, right? I don't know. I certainly don't want
people
that.
Who buy it on PlayStation didn't realize what they're getting, and I don't think it's as big of a hit for them as Starfield would have been. Just
maybe I don't know. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like I think that at the end of the day, we have to you have to go with the games you like. You have to find people that you trust, and don't get so caught up in the numbers. That's the only way to fight this. Like Big Box was asking the question, like, what's the solution? Well, we're not getting rid of social media. We're not getting rid of major media outlets, right? So short of like a world-ending EMP where we don't have electricity anymore, right? The only way we're going to get past this is really just like kind of ignoring some of that stuff. And yeah, like we have to give numbers because that's what people care about at the end of the day, and that's how you get known. So it's a necessary evil part of our ecosystem. But at the end of the day, it's also like, man, let's all just celebrate games a little bit here, right? Like I think I haven't played Baldur's Gate. I probably won't play Baldur's Gate, but I have nothing against Baldur's Gate. I'm super pumped that there are people that freaking love it. Yeah. I love all the memes that have come out of it. Same with Zelda. I'm not going to play Tears of the Kingdom, at least this year. Still happy that people pick Tears of the Kingdom. And while Starfield is definitely my probably game of the year at this point, if it doesn't win, doesn't mean I'm going to hate the game that won. It just means like, oh, okay, more people wanted that one, and at the end of the day, I'm still getting to play this for 200 hours, and I'm pumped. So that's where I would take this. Sorry, I rambled a lot more than I
no, and I want to tie Ash's comment in here. And we were talking about like how long should a reviewer take, or should there be some sort of time commitment expectation? He brings up a good point. So guys, I have a full-time job. I have kids. I still like to go to the gym. I've been maintaining my life for the most part, but every second I've been able to, been playing Starfield. I have 72 hours in the game. Do I feel like this is enough to review this game at this point? No, I've only completed the main quest, but it's not my job to review games. And Ashes brings up this great point. Still, I'm sorry, with 2 weeks ahead of time, and your job is to review, then spend all of your work hours playing it. Exactly. Everyone who was reviewing this for their job could have gotten way more hours, and I would have expected them. I'm changing it. I would have expected them to see every major faction, not all of the side quests, but all the 4 major factions and the main quest done, and see what New Game Plus means. So otherwise, I just don't see how your review could be valid. And is that fair? Probably not, but that's the game. That's what you're getting. And there's so much more. Like, I'm not even saying like you have to get into shipbuilding and outpost building. So that's a huge part of it. And Mariano Papa said Starfield is a 7 out of 10. LOL. Kidding. What's up, Mariano Papa? I know that's not true for you, Pops, because you have 3 days in the game too. So don't act like you're not just loving it. I mean, if it is a 7 out of 10, I guess. But back to Big Box's comments. Bacon, do you want to respond to?
Yeah. So real quick,
what he was saying. Go ahead. We're in no rush, you guys. Our show is about celebrating, and we love Starfield right now, so we can talk about it as much as I want. I don't even care about the news right now. This game is awesome, so let's talk about it. Go ahead, Bacon.
So the question is, how is this game still sitting at an 87 on Metacritic on PC and an 83 on Xbox? It's functionally the exact same game. It does not perform fantastic on PC either. So you can't tell me that there's not something going on where people are digging it or dinging it on Xbox. Mortal Kombat reviews come out and it's scoring higher on PlayStation than it is on Xbox. How's that possible? They're functionally the same freaking box. If you guys pay enough attention to this crap, you'll see it. You'll freaking see it. And even Dan Stapleton said that he had it at an 8, but as he's reading back through all his write-up, and he's like, you know what? Maybe it is a 7. When you think about the way reviews work and clicks work, if you're not,
can I say something about that, Bangin, really quick? I actually did read the review, and after I read it, I was shocked it wasn't a lower score. Like, he was basically complaining the whole time. Like, I am shocked that he even gave it a 7. That's why I don't know if it's a very good review, because it just felt like complaining the entire time. It wasn't even focusing on all the. Right. There's awesome. So much good in this game. Like, I do have to say, I did read it. I do want to make it be known. I read the whole thing.
So with these reviews that have been coming in for the last 2 or 3 days, especially the ones that came in today, these are guys and outlets that did not get access, did not get a code. They had to either buy it or play it on Game Pass. These guys are so far behind the curve right now because all the clicks have already happened. All the Metacritic outrages already happened and all that. So their reviews are virtually worthless unless it's fanboy console war stuff involved. So they're angry that they couldn't drive revenue to their website.
You're making assumptions, Bacon. You don't know that.
Assumptions have been made. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Bacon is on the Twitter more than all of us combined.
I'm pretty sure I'm right, but hey, it's frustrating. And basically just to drive home a point that they're trying to make, that they can affect bonuses for devs.
Yeah, it's messed up.
A lot of bonuses are based on Metacritic scores. A lot of these guys' bonuses, okay. It's ridiculous.
And that's tying it all into what I wanted to bring up to you guys tonight. And Ash has said it's outliers like Jim Sterling. I didn't bring that up because that's just ridiculous. That have a personal vendetta. He's been vocal about his dislike for Bethesda and Xbox. Yeah, whatever. So
how does he still have a Metacritic account?
Whatever. So
get it.
Ash is there's the pop-up that I was waiting for. Sorry, by the way, Ashes, I missed your stream that I should have checked it out. I did want to say this. So it goes back to actually what Big Box was saying is if there's a problem, what's the fix? The fix is, and I believe Travis and Ains and Seasoned Gaming guys, and a lot of people have said this before, get rid of the numbers on the scores. Yeah. And even Collins said he hates Kotaku, but he gives it to them because they got rid of numbers. And that's a hit on them. And whoever
ACG.
else, an ACG. And that's what I wanted to bring up to you guys. I think we should get rid of our numbers.
Great.
Fair.
Change it to simple, like the 3. Like must buy, must play. Middle, we have worth your time. No, I don't want worth your time on money, or wait for Game Pass. Like, it could be as easy as that. Like, it just I'm not saying we have to figure it out right now, but I'm saying, like, maybe, I know we're nobody and who cares? We have like 2-3 reviews on our channel, but we'd like to get more someday. And that's what I think would have to happen, but people aren't going to click and people aren't going to read. Everyone just instantly scrolls down to the 7 out of 10. And even the remarks on the IGN were just poorly written. And I just didn't like it all, but that's me. It's okay. It's just a number. Like Jose said, I've got 72 hours in this fantastic game. It's my game of the year. I can't stop. I wish I was playing right now, not even recording with you guys. So great discussion, guys. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Ashes, for your comments. Pomps for being here. Pomps, go back and listen to Dan Stapleton tearing me a new one on Twitter, or sorry, on X platform.
And Joe, even though we knocked God of War, we still love you, bud.
Dude, the fast travel in God of War is terrible. It is terrible. The map is terrible. I was going to go for the platinum on that game. I loaded into two things. I'm like, I just can't do this. And I walked away. I was just like, I can't spend any more time in these loading screens. So guys, let's quickly cover the news for the week. If we can even get to it. The news story number 3. God.
This is bad.
This is bad, dude.
Really
you guys
bad.
can take this away. This is bad. The Unity drama. And this was tweeted on September 12th, 2023. And then they've been tweeting about it the past few days.
Dude, it's so bad.
Today, we announced a change to our business model, which includes new additions to our subscription plans and the introduction of a runtime fee. We wanted to provide clarifying answers to the top questions most of you are asking. Yes, this is a price increase and will only affect a small subset of our current Unity editor users. Today, a large majority of the Unity editor users are currently not paying anything and will not be affected by this change. The Unity runtime fee will not impact a majority of our developers. The developers who will be impacted are generally those who have successful games and are generating revenue way above the thresholds we outlined in our blog. This means that developers who are still building their business and growing audience of their games will not pay a fee. This program was designed specifically this way to ensure developers could find success before the install fit takes effect. We want to be clear that the counter for the Unity runtime fee starts on January 1st, 2024, and is not retroactive. We looked ways for lessening the impact on developers and provide ways to bring the runtime fee to zero. If you're using any of our products, Unity Game Service, Cloud Service, please contact us. And then this is, of course, to a response to IG or their original changes in their user agreement. And IGN has an article, Why Unity's new install fees are spurring a massive backlash among game developers. This is coming from Logan Plant. Bacon, do you want to just take it away and tell us what's happening? So basically, every time you
download a game, there's going to be a fee. So, and I've done that with the limited storage on my Xbox all the time, where I remove a game and I'll come back when there's DLC, or I'll come back when there's an update, and they're going to charge these devs every time. And they also said on games that are in subscription services like Game Pass that they're going to pass those costs off to Microsoft.
I thought
they've basically buried themselves with this one. This is just terrible. And you see what happened to their stock. It went down to damn near zero. They're forcing their president out. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so the Game Pass is a minimum revenue threshold. In 12 months, you'll get charged. The game is past the minimum lifetime install. So that's the big one, the install thing. So this guy tweeted out, make a game. This is from Michael J. Fox, and he says, game is freemium. Game makes $200K from in-app purchases after being installed 3 million times. You now owe Unity 20 cents per 2.8 million installs, 560,000. That's 360,000 more than what we made on the game. So these downloads, the download fee, or the install fee is there's a bunch of tweets on this. So basically all these people are threatening to leave Unity, and how this install fee is taking away basically all the money that they make on every game that they have out on like a subscription service or a free to play. So, or even that they're selling. So Jose, clarify some more for me, because I could tell you wanted to talk about this. You said it sucks.
So I'm sure there are a lot of elements I don't understand about this, because again, I'm not in the developer world, but I think the 2 points that really hit home, essentially, like, are that first one that when you just read about, like, it's not considering the fact that like people will make enough money to cover the costs, and that's a huge problem, dude. Of like, I could make a game that I'm just really passionate about. Think of like a Stardew Valley, right? It wasn't made in Unity, but as an example, right? Like the developer Concerned Ape is literally one dude, literally, that makes the entire game, and he take all this time, and he's probably made a bunch of money now. But when it was first coming up, if you'd have been charged for every download, he would have been in the red very fast. And then what do, man? You just declare bankruptcy, shut down the game, everyone's mad. Like, there's no winners there. The other part that is interesting and that people are bringing up is like, what about Unreal? Because basically Unreal, their model is, we are going to charge you after you've made $1 million.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
and there's a tweet right here. Unreal said that right here. So if you make $1 million in gross revenue, if you make $1 million in $1, you owe us 5 cents. And this is per title. Also, revenue generated from the Epic Games Store will be excluded from that 5% royalty. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so like it's basically in the end, it's a very bizarre move from Unity. Like I understand they're trying to make money. I understand that element, but like this didn't seem very well thought out in a marketplace where there are other options. And there's also things like you have to remember that people like devs like this have to pay for like licenses and stuff in order to develop in these systems. It's not like just I know it's technically free, but to be able to build a game that's strong enough to publish, there is a cost involved. And unless they've been telling people this for a couple years, that is a little deceptive to say like, hey, you spend all this money. And then, by the way, we're going to take more money, and you're not going to get a refund. And all those hours and hours and hours you spent building your game, like, sorry, you're stuck with us now. Like that feels very captive in that way. So I certainly hope some of this rolls back. We'll see. I'm not saying Unity doesn't deserve to make money. I'm not. They're a great engine. They deserve that, but they should have thought this out before this like really overarching change to their system, especially when it's regarding finances. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm just reading the article, and it is all so there's one post. I'm looking at the Unity post right here, and it's real quick. It just says, effective January 21st, 2024, we will introduce a Unity runtime fee that's based on game installs. We also add cloud-based storage, Unity developing tools. Please read our blog post. And like the blog post is just a few questions, and I could see why if people just randomly read this, be like, what the heck is happening? There's not very good details on like what the installs work, and like there's already updates to everything on here, and actually some of it say updated September 14th.
Yeah, like today.
Yes, exactly. So there's 163 pages on this blog. So anyway, so clearly people are not happy with this. I wish I could speak more to this, but I just don't know what it takes into developing games. I'm not a game developer, but from what I've seen, the feedback, it looks like this needs to be, they need to adjust this, right, Bacon? And I don't know if Unreal's how they are doing it is the better or fair option, or what other people think. But from what I've seen from developer tweets is that, hey, we're going to stop. If you guys don't change this, like I saw one, I can't remember the developer talking about a game saying, if you don't change this, we're gonna quit using your engine. We're switching to something else because we just can't afford to do this. So, closing thoughts on this Unity drama. I wish I could speak more to it, but I'm not a game developer, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hope it works out well. That's
yeah, I hope things are adjusted. Yeah,
$5 game like Vampire Survivor that's downloaded millions and millions of times.
Yeah,
it just won't work.
Because of how much they're making on the game priced at that. Okay,
they're charging a base fee based on downloads and based on reinstalls. That's ridiculous.
And Game Pass, where they're not even getting a per game revenue. They got like something up front to put it on Game Pass. So good point there, guys. Let's move on to news story number 4. Fallout trailer, TV show trailer has leaked. Did you guys get a chance to see it?
Nope.
It's
Bacon.
short, but yeah. I did.
It looks really good. I mean, it was a trailer. We don't know, but the quality looked, dare I say, better than Halo, Bacon, just from that little trailer.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Jose, are you watching it right now? Tell me you're watching it.
Well, yes, I am.
Okay, go watch that. While you're watching that, I do want to read Ash's comments here. Ash suggested, should this be our new review scale? Buy with Game Pass discount, Game Pass only, and don't even install. LOL. Yes, it's something. Buy with Game Pass discount. I would almost say buy Game Pass only. Don't even. Do we even want to narrow it down even, or maybe buy or must play, worth your time and money around this price. And we specify worth your time and money, and then we say what the price we think should be, and then Game Pass, not install. Anyway, we'll think about it, Ashes. We definitely are probably going to change it, but we have to keep caca in one of them, right, Jose? That has to be one of the.
That's the law.
Don't install this caca. That will be the last one. Did you watch the trailer, Jose? Did you see the Brotherhood of Steel walking in?
I did.
What's your concern? Oh no, he's not sold.
Here's the thing. We've talked about this many a time. My taste in TVs and movies my bar is very low because I just like entertainment. I like the Halo show. I had a great time with Halo. I know people were pissed about a lot of things. I understand it.
Some
Didn't bother me.
highs,
I had a great
low
time.
lows.
So I will watch Fallout. I'm sure I will love Fallout because I like the games. I like Walter Goggins. You saw a quick shot of his face, right? As
Dude,
the like zombie
great
guy.
actor. Justified.
I'm sure I will love this. I will say objectively, the Brotherhood of Steel walking in, I was like,
Really? Jose, this was like taken on somebody's phone.
I know. And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to remember. It's like I need it in like 4K, like 4K streaming on my TV, and I'm sure I will love it. I'm sure I will love it, dude. It's just like it is concerning that it's Amazon, right? Amazon. Is
Why
like
is
that.
Doesn't Amazon make pretty good shows?
The show that on Amazon that I've loved was The Boys.
The Boys. Yeah, you love
phenomenal.
that.
They have made hundreds of other shows that I have not seen or loved. But anyway, I will watch it. That's what I'll say.
Jack Reacher's good. Oh,
I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. Maybe it's great.
Yeah. There's a
back
ton of good stuff on Amazon.
Back to BigBox, you mentioned on the install thing, per install is awful. No dev will want to update their games. The reason people reinstall. That's a good point. Does that count when you have an update and it like completely I didn't even think about that. Like,
ooh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
That would probably be in their terms. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a feeling Unity is going to be changing something. Hopefully, the feedback has not been good. Let's go on to quick two little stories here. News story number 5. This hits on so many levels of nostalgia, and we're here for it. The mega 3 to 4 scale Xbox 360 collector set is exclusively available at Target. Pre-order now, guys. For only $150, you can pre-order this mega showcase 360 set. Pre-orders have already sold out. That's actually kind of insane to me. Shocked at that because for $150
on mega,
I would not even that. Why wouldn't I just spend $150 on a 360? And if I want to display it behind me, why would
$150? You could get 3 of them for that price. Probably.
Well, I'm just saying. So cool, right? But bacon, is this really that cool?
It is incredibly cool, but they missed the opportunity to do the Red Rings of Death. I mean, they should have done the Red Rings of Death.
It would have been cool if they would have included one of the buttons being that you can replace the green with the Red Rings of Death. That would have been a nice little Easter egg. That would have been
I like it with the side cover off. You can see all the internals. I mean,
I didn't even see that.
$150 is steep though, but yeah, I don't buy Lego stuff, so I don't know.
I would rather just buy a 360 and display that in the background. Cool, but not for me. And then last quick news story. What was this one that Clobrel had on there? Oh, Forza Horizon 5 Creatives is coming September 12th. So it's already out now. Event Lab 2.0. There's more selection modes, prefabs, custom flyers, new props, and more. More Event Lab Island, new cars, including a Forza Motorsport cover car, and 20 new rims from a new to Horizon aftermarket brand and body parts. Forza Horizon 5 is the game that keeps on coming, a certified banger slanger. Forza Horizon 5, IGN's Game of the Year 2021, boys. We've already been talking about Starfield. I think that's pretty much all we've been playing. Let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Speaking of best food, Jose, where are my counters? I'm not seeing.
Oh, I have them. I say them when we do.
Okay. So update. 87 Popeye spicy chicken sandwiches, 34 breakfast burritos. Jose, I think we need to add another. Actually, we might need to add 2 items that we need to have on the ticker.
Actually, I forgot to add the 2 from last week, so we're at 36 breakfast burritos.
Well, no, that wasn't what I mean. We need to add Chipotle burritos eaten. We need to add a tally for that, and Big Mac / quarter pounder with cheese devoured.
Oh my God.
I think we need to add it, boys, because I went to McDonald's the other day. My gosh, this wasn't the best food I had this week, but it was delicious. Standard Whopper, standard quarter pounder with cheese. But here's what I do, Bacon. I say no mustard. I say add.
What's wrong with you?
You only get onions on it, and then you add mayonnaise, guys. Changes the game. Changes the quarter pounder game. I'm letting you know now. And here's the other thing, guys. Order through the app. I get both of those delicious burgers for $5.99. It's a consistent buy one, get one free. And that's how much I'm spending at McDonald's. Pro Strat. You can order ahead, pick it up, or when you're at the drive-thru, you just have your code ready to go. Okay, so you want to save some money? I've been obsessed with the McDonald's. They got me. Okay, and then I go to the play place and let the kids play. They bring it out to me. It's incredible service at this McDonald's off of Kipling over there. So shout out to the McDonald's app. But the best food I had this week was Chipotle. Standard double meat. Can I make that a double meat, double chicken? So add one burrito to the list and add one Whopper, two. So I need two on there because I had one of each, Jose. So that's two Big Macs QBCs. Best food I had this week. Bacon, what was the best food you had this week?
Hot take, gentlemen. Papa John's makes the best delivery pizza. And it isn't so much their pizza, it's their breadsticks with the cheese dip. Just putting it out there.
Breadsticks, bud.
With the garlic.
Cheese, the breadsticks with the cheese dip make pizza better, and it's all in all a better experience.
I love Papa John's. You need to tell me if Allie loves Papa John's stuffed crust bacon. She even got sick and vomited and got food poisoning and has gone back to Papa John's stuffed crust pizza.
Ooh,
I also got to give a shout out, Jose. Domino's, man, I had it twice last week because I was watching the kids. Allie's been sick. I was like, I'm not getting dinner. We had twice back to back. Kids devoured.
Back to back. You're pulling World War champions over here.
Back to back again. Domino's app. I had a free pizza. I spent $10 on like 3 pizzas. It was incredible. You guys, pro strat for Domino's. Get the pan, and if you've got a good Domino's nearby, get the pan and stick with it. Always pays off, man. Add it to the list. I said we got to add Domino. Well, okay. How about this? How about pizzas ordered?
Oh my god! Okay,
fast. Okay,
let's order pizza delivered.
And shout out to Ash's breakfast burritos for the win. Always love breakfast burritos. And Ashes says, "Wow, that's true love." Throw it up and still yes, exactly. And she was really, she's like, we're not getting Papa John's for a while. About a month later, boys. Can we get that stuff, Chris? Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
The best thing I had this week, believe it or not, and it's not something I have often, it was pho. On this weekend, I was sick again, dude.
Is it pho or pho?
I assure you it's not pho. It's pho. It was pho, and honestly, dude, when we go to this pho place, we gotta start somewhere, Bacon. The truth was that I was
because we can include the Costco pizzas on there as well, Jose. This is a general.
That's why I'm the producer here. I was sick, and I usually get the believe it or not the sesame chicken because it's really good at the pho place we go to. That's like my standard
Mongolian
order.
barbecue.
No, but I was sick, and I was like, dude, I need something spicy. And Victoria's like, do you want some fun? I was like, yeah, get me a veggie pho. And I got the medium, which was just gargantuan. And I ate the whole thing, dude, with all the spicy and like cleared my sinuses. It was absolutely what I looked for. So shout out to my wife, Victoria, for bringing home. Our pho place is called Pho Real in Littleton. If you like pho, you should check it out, Pho Real. The other thing, I'm also on that McDonald's kick. Like my standard order though, when I need a snackaroo is a little hot and spicy and hot and spicy and a McDouble, dude. That's my standard like snack order when I haven't eaten and I don't want to eat too much before dinner, but I got to eat something because I haven't eaten all day. Standard order, and it's like under $10. Phenomenal, man. So
under $10. I just told you $5.99 for
buy to get
on the app. I don't have the app, but every time I go, they ask me, "Are you going to use your app?" And I'm like, "I don't have the app. Leave me alone." But
do it. You get those points. And by the way, spicy chicken sandwich, guys, is that the most underrated chicken? I think Chance. I remember he said that before. Probably the most underrated chicken sandwich ever. Absolutely.
Sorry, that's what I had.
Yeah, you ever just go to McDonald's just to order a large fry? That's it.
No,
I do that all the time. Go and order a fry.
Ash said Japanese hibachi for his family. He's got deep pockets, but
oh man! Speaking of having disposable income and getting conned,
disposable income.
Sorry, Ashes. That was to our early discussion. Make sure and go back and listen. Dan Stapleton was on my ass tonight when I tweeted at him or z'd at him. No, I love hibachi. I had that a couple weeks ago. Some delicious grilled steak and fried. Absolutely, that's what Allie gets. She always gets the. Do they have filet? Yeah, she gets the filet over there. And hot take for me, guys. Whenever we go to the hibachi place, what do I get?
Bento box.
Sushi. I don't even get
I
the.
do like the sushi, bud.
I get sushi, and then the kids, they'll get a platter, and then I'll just have their leftover lo mein and chicken and shrimp. So it all works out for me. Gentlemen, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 124. Did we paid for early access to Starfield? Did we get conned? According to some of our friends on the Zeternet, we did. My name is Daddy Diwali. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat or the Nerd Chat podcast on all social media. Thank you so much to our fans for all the comments last week. Our video hitting monstrous record-breaking numbers. And shout out to Ashes. Great to have you here, brother. We hope to see you here all the time. We enjoy it. I got to stop by your streams next time. I mean, Ashes has got 130 hours in Starfield, guys. He's a real pro.
How many hours do you think Ains has? He just joined the chat.
Oh, shout out to Ainsley Bowden. You know what, Ains, I got to say something. I always want to mispronounce your name. You know why, Ains? Do you remember the coach for Florida State? Do any of you guys remember? Bobby Bowden. And I always see Ainsley. I'm sorry, Ains. I just think of Bobby Bowden, the famous Florida State Seminoles football coach. So shout out to Ains. Just swing by to say Starfield is okay. It suffices as a quotes game, I guess. Okay, somebody put Ains on a timeout, please. Mod Ashes to Ashes, get on that. Ains, sometime we're gonna have to play Halo this week. There, I want to get that stance, even though I think I have it. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Chipotle_bear, and Instagram at Chipotle Bear. And again, to everyone that joined, of course, including Ains, Ashes, B, Joe over the Nerd Chat.
Mariano,
I know Luke hasn't been
Papa.
on Momps. And Luke, hope you're feeling better, buddy, by the way. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great week, man. Excited to continue Starfield. And it's just still a great time for games, man. A lot to come in. Thanks for joining.
Shout out to Ains. I get called Bobby Bowden about 7 times a day. I hate that guy. Diablo 4 greater than Starfield? Diablo. Oh my, now you're just getting crazy. 3 and 2 better. You're insane. Absolutely insane. By the way, Ains, did you see Dan get on my ass on Twitter about the paying for early access? Yikes. Go check out my Twitter feed on that one, Ains. Joining us as always, X Bacon Gaming. Where can people find you? Little Nightmares.
Well, you can.
We did. Thanks, Ains.
You can find me at X Bacon Gaming across all your socials, all your gaming platforms. But right now, you can find me in the stars in Starfield.
As always, spacefarers, hold the line and see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
My colleagues, I venture out into the darkness of space once again. Many of you have expressed concern. At my age, you say, surely the risks are too great. Surely Sebastian Banks has earned a rest. Nonsense, I say. To go out into the unknown, to brave the possibility of never coming back, to ignite the spark of hope that humanity will find answers out there in the stars, that is all I have ever wanted. If this last expedition is my time, then I say, I have been fortunate. I have been fortunate to leave surrounded by people who could not be more different from one another, but who share a common purpose. That, dare I say, I am fortunate. My soul has a home it can always come back to.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy Diwali across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.